We know with absolute truth that Fromsoftware is a powerhouse when it comes to the gaming industry. They have some of the most expansive worlds, deepest lore, and the most unique ability of all to design a game that's actually complete on release. But what some goofy gamers don't actually know is that Fromsoftware is not only a high fantasy, dark fantasy, and eldritch horror company, they also dabble in sci-fi, specifically the mech genre. I bet you don't even know they made mech games for the Gundam franchise, they made mech games for the Kinect, and they even made a mech game about the President of the United States saving America. The mech. Yeah, with almost 35 mech games and 6 mobile ports, Fromsoftware has been in the mech business since 1997, and some might say, some being me, I think they're pioneers. But out of those 35 games, excluding the one for the Kinect, there is one franchise that Fromsoftware holds near and dear to their heart. That franchise is Armored Core.
So grab some oil, grab your favorite mech model, and buckle up, Buster.
Well, I've just made a mess of myself, haven't I?
Specifically today, we are talking Armored Core 1, Fromsoftware's first dive into the fast-paced, fully automatic, fully customizable third-person mech genre. Armored Core 1 takes place in the far future after humanity has endured something known as the Great Destruction, a cataclysmic event that also happens in my toilet after I eat Taco Bell. And much like my toilet, this has left the surface of the world uninhabitable. Most people live underground now, with the exception of corpo military bases that are used for intercorporational wars, and yes, I just made that word up. You see, among the pillars of humanity, there are two that stand above the rest, two companies that aim to bring humanity even further beyond. Chrome and Murakumo Millennium. These two corporations are essentially funding terrorist groups to sabotage one another, all for the same purpose of uniting the world under one shadow government. And who else would be stuck in the center of this eternal conflict but you? We take on the role of a new Raven, a member of the mercenary group known as the Raven's Nest. From here, you take on an assortment of missions sent to your dossier, from requesters such as the City Guard to even Chrome or Murakumo themselves.
That's basically it story-wise. I mean, I can count on my finger how many cutscenes there are in this game, and half of them are missable. Oh wow, look at all these timelines floating across my head. Oh, Fromsoftware, I'm so confused. Don't worry, that's exactly what I was saying when I was reading about the timelines. It's crazy. You should sub to my channel.
Now, to become a Raven, you must first pass the entry exam. Right off the bat, the game drops you into a test versus 2 other AC units, or Armored Cores. And guess what? You didn't study for it. Armored Core throws you into the thick of it with no knowledge of how to play or what to do. And you kind of just run around in an extreme panic because there are these mechs that are flying around you, shooting at you, and you've got about 1,000 things showing up in your HUD, all while this Euro EDM is bumping in the background. And could they have given us a couple little tips on the loading screen? Of course they could, but they didn't, and now you have to figure out how to play, or else you'll fail the exam and the game will catch on fire and you'll die.
When you first pick up this game, it feels like the worst piece of trash you have ever had the displeasure of taking out of your house. Hey there, kid! The controls are very similar to Kingsfield. I mean, you got your L2 and your R2, which do your vertical up and down camera. Your left and right on the D-pad gives you your horizontal camera. And then there are the rest of the controls. Yeah, the controls are not very beginner or user-friendly. This has been stated online since the game's release. I mean, just check out the comment that my boy Ow My Eyes left.
Good game, bad controls.
I could not have said it better myself, Ow My Eyes, but there is one thing that you missed. One legend that has been passed down from generation to generation. I, of course, speak of the backwards holding your controller method.
Only those with an enlightened mind may open their third eye to the backwards controller method.
Nah, I'm just kidding. That's not a real thing. People in the Armored Core community, I guess, have been talking about this for years. I don't actually think anybody plays like that. And if you do, tell me in the comments.
As you slowly progress and go into debt, the game's controls really start to click. Shooting seems all over the place at first, until you get the controls down. Movement seems blocky and unrefined, until you get the controls down. Everything in this game starts off feeling terrible until you realize you're the problem, and the game starts to come together. Sometimes you do get knocked around a lot when you lose track of the enemy you're shooting at, and also I find that my ammo doesn't last very long, but that's probably because I spend a lot of time holding down the shoot button rather than conserving ammo. And if you're bad like me, you definitely need to restart the game a few times to get the hang of it. So after fluking with flying colors, we defeat the 2 ACs and successfully pass the entry exam. And congratulations, you are now an official mercenary of the Raven's Nest.
See that right there? I did that. And you can too.
It's here that we're introduced into the main hub, or the Raven's Nest. The central hub is simply a menu screen that displays the following. System, which is how you save, load, and check options. Shop, where you purchase all your new equipment. Mission dossier, the list in which you select your missions. Mail, where you get all the lore and tips. And the garage. This is where you can edit your AC, give them new colors, new skins, edit your emblem, check the stats, and best of all, customize your new parts. Oh, you can also go into the training room here to test out your custom AC unit. Of course, I named mine Pooh Butt Omega because I'm a mature adult. Oh, wait, no, that's my pilot's name. My AC unit is called Poobert 2. We don't talk about Poobert 1. Oh, there's also ranks. That shows how you compare to the NPCs within the organization. If you defeat a pilot during a mission, you move up to their spot. Oh yeah, did I tell you that you'll be pitted against other Ravens? While the Raven's Nest is a faction of mercenaries, it's just that. It's a faction of mercenaries. The highest bidder is the one who gains the loyalty of an AC pilot. You might be on a job where you need to go cause a ruckus in the city, and another Raven might show up because they were paid to be there and stop you. And this is where Armored Core shines. Throughout the game, you are pitted against other ACs, and the battles get intense. I find myself getting pretty beat up during these fights, but when you're pitted mono and mono, and they're just flying around, and you're just flying around, and bullets are flying around, damn, it's good. You really just kind of get into the zone during these missions, and it really puts you on the edge of your seat. There's even this mission where the Raven's Nest hosts a battle, and one of the top Ravens challenges you, but because of how good you've been doing, they have to get a second AC pilot to make things fair.
There's one aspect of Armored Core that I really need to touch on, and that is one of, if not the most important aspect of the game. The ability to customize your Armored Core.
Your Armored Core is, well, it's your everything. And you need to make it the most suited to not only your playstyle, but also into a war machine that will annihilate your foes. The more missions you beat, the more money, and the more money, the bigger and better the parts you get are. Parts can affect your armor, which is this game's health, your energy, which when increased allows for longer boost times and longer use of your energy weapons, your radar, which allows you to see things on your minimap, and of course your movement. Depending on what gun you pick, your lock on screen can be bigger or smaller. Ammunition can go from being energy-based to bullet-based. And in addition, if you have optional parts that can be attached to your AC unit by using up slots that come from your core, you can enhance all of the above and beyond. Think of optional parts as small little buffs for your AC unit. With the level of customization you can put into your Armored Core, it's no wonder that people love this game. I spent so much time in the garage just looking at, these stats.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I have no clue what's going on over here, and most certainly, I have no idea what's going on over here.
Armored Core has so many stats. I still don't really understand what most of them do, but you can check each part's stat in the assembly section of your garage or by checking your performance. But it doesn't really explain to you what they do in any capacity. So I just try to make sure that nothing's in the red. However, the more expensive your parts are, the more it will cost post-mission to repair your unit for damage taken. At first, this was kind of annoying, but honestly, once I got better and the game got better, I definitely took less damage and didn't really notice a big difference.
Now, in researching this game and getting ready to play it, I did find something very interesting. There's a feature in the game known as the Human Plus Project. This Human Plus Project is a feature in the game in which it takes the hard experience that is Armored Core and makes it into a slightly less hard experience. Simply to get into the Human Plus Project, you must go into debt, buy a couple little too many hot dogs, buy a little too many games. Oop, your car broke. $500. Once you hit that negative $50,000 debt mark, you trigger this cutscene.
Is this the subject for our next experiment?
Yes. His papers say he was a Raven.
Oh, so he took the usual route here.
Seems to have piled up quite a debt.
Listen guys, I know I owe you a lot of money, but if you could just reconsider for like 1 second. And you might say at first, oh, what a cool game over screen that was. But guess what? That's not what it is. In fact, you've given your soul to Murakumo in exchange for cybernetic enhancements, and you are now a slave to the corporations. And I think that's pretty neat.
The Human Plus Project in Armored Core lore is basically cybernetic enhancements. When you do trigger the Human Plus cutscene, your game does get reset, but this is only to the benefit of the player. Not only do you still have all of your equipment from before, you also get your new Human Plus parts. The Human Plus parts range from getting the best radar, a buff that lessens the amount of energy expelled by your laser sword and boosts, the ability to shoot shoulder cannons without kneeling, increased carrying capacity, and of course, the creme de la creme, the blade laser waves that shoot from your sword when you click the boost button shortly after hitting the blade button. Now come on close, I'm gonna tell you a little dirty secret. If you want to get into the Human Plus project, you gotta do the following. First of all, beat every mission until the worker robot removal mission appears in your dossier. Then go to the store and buy the best part you can. Not only are you going to keep this part, you're also trying to take your money to a minimum. Equip said part, then go into the worker robot removal mission. Now you'll notice there are 3 areas with generators. Blow up the first and second area, leaving the last area without blowing it up. Then walk into the center of the last room and blow up the final set. Not only will you fail this mission and lose money because of it, you'll also lose money due to the damages you've done to your armored core. Now keep failing this mission or other missions until you have negative 50,000 credits, and you'll be treated to that sweet, sweet Human Plus cutscene. Now the only drawback is you actually have to do this about 6 times to get all of the upgrades. And as a penalty, your pilot name gets changed from Poobud Omega to Rebel followed by 3 digits.
And I guess if you 100% the game, you can pick up a few other Human Plus project pieces, but do I look like Gerard the completionist? That guy can complete a game in a week. I can hardly put a video out in a month. And Gerard, if you ever see this, normal boots. Shoot your shot. After getting fully tricked out with the Human Plus project pieces and ascending your mortal capabilities, you can now start the game.
The Raven's Nest, your gracious employer, has dished out a list of missions that you need to complete to not only gain financial stability, but also raise your rank among the greats of the organization. Greats such as Dragon Killer and Bounty and 9 Ball? Wait, this guy's seriously the #1 Raven? What a stupid name. You pick a mission, do it, get paid minus the deductions like the damage you received or the ammo you used, and rinse and repeat. The more money you have, the better upgrades you can buy for your unit. This creates a pretty simple gameplay loop similar to Monster Hunter, and I like myself a Monster Hunter. These missions range from taking out deadly terrorist groups like Imminent Storm or Struggle, to naturally gunning down the protesters who work for Chrome that are on strike for better working conditions.
What do we want?
In the protester level, if you turn around and explore the area right behind you, you can find a large rocket arm. I couldn't equip it, so I just sold it for cash. But what is even cooler than the rocket arm is that I knew that the Moonlight Greatsword of Kingsfield fame was in this game, but instead of looking up its location like I would typically do, I accidentally found it through my first playthrough by accidentally blowing up a hole in the floor, falling to the very bottom of this ancient temple, and finding it just on this old pedestal. I love when games hide small little extras within levels. It really takes that mission-based gameplay and makes it more fun. Just gives you a little extra substance to the missions, you know?
I actually stream this game here on this channel.
Every Monday, 6 p.m. AST. Why don't you come on down and have a chat?
And after a few hours, I thought I knew everything this game had to offer, but I was wrong. Something I loved about Armored Core is that it has that Fromsoftware flair. The missions are hard, varied, and unique. And I'm not just talking about objectives, I'm talking about the missions themselves. They're just so memorable.
Like near the end of the game, you fight a giant satellite weapon known as Justice. You make your way through the level by shutting down energy gates and fighting off enemies. And then after you've destroyed Justice, you get to see the CEO of Murakumo get shot up by a drone. I don't know, I just thought this scene was sick.
So, I have failed. This means the end of Murakumo. After all, pawns are mere pawns.
Another mission has you tasked with entering an old abandoned factory to recover a capsule. And I was not expecting a horror experience in my Mech game. Basically, this level has no music, but it does have this distorted Japanese lady's voice on repeat over the factory's intercom. And my god did it give me the creeps. But none compared to the final Moonbase mission. Chrome requests you go to the Moonbase Roa, which has been abandoned. Murakumo agents are there trying to revive the base's operations, and you need to go in and destroy all the generators. Once you make your way to the top floor, you fight against an unnamed AC unit and blow up the generator. With the generator destroyed, a self-destruct sequence starts, and you're given a time frame of 2 minutes. And that's when this sick-ass track starts playing, and I couldn't help but smile and jam out.
I always bring up music in my videos because I think it's important for video games to have a good soundtrack. That, and I really like video game music.
Yeah, you got some duds too, like the blimp mission or the little parkade octopus guy who you couldn't hit because he zooped around so much. But you have even worse missions like the poison level. You know, I'm pretty forgiving with Fromsoftware's poison levels, but oh, what, you didn't expect me to bring up a poison level in a mech game? They found a way. This mission sucked, but it was also strangely intense and rewarding. In the purple areas, you lose health faster than Sonic can scarf down a chili dog. You have to place these 5 bombs on these pillars, but when you get to them, you don't know where to plant them. Oh, I guess you gotta click the circle button to place the bomb on the right side. When you do find it, I wasted a good 30 seconds trying to figure that one out while my health was draining. As I was getting down to the wire, my health was just absolutely getting bombed. I placed the last bomb and needed to exit. However, there was no way I was gonna make it back in time. Luckily, I found a destroyable wall next to the tower, which in turn gave me a shortcut, and I managed to get out with barely any health left. Even though I was aggravated the whole time, at the end of this mission, I couldn't help but feel so rewarded. And that's what I mean by these missions are memorable. Some levels can be super confusing, and while there is a map, it doesn't always help. I find myself wandering the halls of the bigger maps due to everything looking the same, and I tend to get very lost. Except for that one space station level. That's not my fault I kept getting lost. They legit made this level like a lobster cage. It has some big doors, but also some small doors, and you're tasked with finding a package that's somewhere in the station, and I guess this is the package, but I just kept running past it because I thought it was like a wall in the ground or something. But then I clicked circle, I got it, I was like, oh cool, but that's only half the battle, because now you gotta go find the Tonka truck that's behind one of the small walls, doors, but the area looks so similar you wouldn't know where it is until you find it. I do laugh at these things though, it was funny, it was a good mission. I liked it. It was aggravating. I got lost.
But no one could have prepared me for what is to come, the hardest mission of them all. No, I dare not speak its name. I nay have the strength.
I have never wanted to stop playing a game as much as I have this last mission. It starts off pretty average. You go in to deactivate some mines, fight robots. After the mission's finished, some doors open and the mission continues. Them doors lead to the most painful platforming I think I've ever experienced since Super Mario 64 on my Switch with Joy-Con drift. Let me lay it out for you. There is a tall room. Many a cube float here. Many a cube have many a turrets on them. You need to get to the top. Turret bullets push you off. There's also robots. Robots shoot bullets that also push you off. Cubes move up, down, left, right. Anger. Not to mention everything here rails your health, so if you're not careful, you'll be listening to the low armor sound for 10 minutes until you get to the top. And oh shit, 9-Ball, the toughest pilot of the dumbest name, is at the top. Ha, if he kills you, you have to start the whole mission over again. And guess how many times I died? Like 10, minimum. He shows up and he just absolutely demolishes you with unrelenting firepower. Then when you finally beat him, guess what? He shows up again and kills you. Again!
Daddy, I would know. No, Daddy, I would know. No!
Man, what a stupid video. Robots? Corporate greed? Not in our lifetime. Well, I'm off to buy Armored Core 6 because nothing says escape reality like piloting a giant mech in a war-torn world instead of dealing with the actual problems out there.
Yes, consume. Buy. Material possessions reign supreme. People scurry like frenzied hamsters on a never-ending wheel of desire. They scavenge through the aisles, their eyes glazed over with a mix of longing and desperation, as if possessed by some retail deity. Their wallets weep empty and grasping for mercy, while mountains of unnecessary gadgets and trinkets pile up, forming altars to the insatiable hunger for more. Yet, in the midst of this comical tragedy, the very essence of their soul shrivels like a raisin in the sun, forever lost to the dark abyss of buy now and regret later.
Whoops! Looks like someone forgot to take their meds again.